So with me today is Steve Morantz, and thanks for joining us with this interview for the Sound Summit.
My
Uh,
pleasure.
yeah. So, and where are you right now?
I'm on the Warner Brothers backlot, filming a show called Sex Lives of College Girls for HBO Max. It's a Minnie Kaling executive produced new show, half-hour comedy.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. How's it going so far?
So far, so good. We're just into week 3 here, it's nice being on the Warner Brothers lot, and generally on the Warner Brothers lot, you don't get to bring your own equipment, and I'm fortunate that I'm able to bring my equipment on this particular project.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I know you can't talk too much about this particular show, but I know you've worked on some shows, one of which I've watched, which is Dead to Me. That's something you've worked on recently. Tell us a little bit about that one.
It's a half-hour dramedy. I like to say heavy on the drama, light on the comedy. But
Right.
with Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini, I go way back with Christina. I've done several projects with her over the years, and executive producer Jessica Elbaum, who's Will Ferrell's producing partner. I've done many shows with her as well. So them doing this project together was a no-brainer, and I cleared my schedule to do it.
And Mayans MC, that's another show you've worked on quite a bit. Tell us about
Yes,
that.
that just wrapped up a week ago. I left that just a week and a half early to start this project, but 5.5 months. And that show generally shoots in the spring and early summer, and we shot in the fall and winter. And with all the outdoor locations, instead of being very hot and sweaty, it was very cold and miserable. But very tough show, very great show. It's always a challenge, and I felt that we met it every day.
Great. You had mentioned to me at one point that like there's a big difference between drama and comedy. And what are some of those things in terms of like, the work that you do?
Well, drama is different in the fact that, it's pretty much the script is the script. I can get the script 3 weeks from now and take a look at it 3 weeks later, and it's not going to change much. Comedy, no two takes are the same. There's just either performance-wise or notes or improv. I've worked on a lot of shows where there's a lot of improv and things like that. And with that, you got to get it right every time.
Very cool.
So, but my attitude is always be prepared for the worst, and generally it works out a lot better than you think it's going to.
And you had mentioned you had a lot of channels on that show.
Yes, on my ends, I've run up to 15 or 16, up to 3 booms. The general rule of thumb in this day and age is, pretty much everybody gets a radio mic. We boom what we can, and I'm pretty successful in getting the booms over as much as we can. I do radio mic everybody that speaks or has the potential to speak. I do monitor ISOs at all times, even if I'm not using them, because sadly in this day and age, we are sound recordists.
Right.
Our mix is used basically for dailies and other things. Few occasions my mix has been used for a show, but with all the talking with post-production and re-recording mixers, which I try to go to as many playbacks and talk to post-production as much as possible on all my projects. Most shows are rebuilt, and again, ISOs are extremely important. That's why, again, if I'm using the boom or if I'm using the radios, I give them as much knowledge and information as I can. But at the end of the day, it's out of my hands on what they decide to use. If I use the booms and I think they're perfect, they may decide to use the radios.
Yeah.
If I use the radios, they may decide to use the booms. So again, just as much information as I can give them, for them to do the job the best way they can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so tell me about the key elements of your current rig. And you mentioned before not doing a lot of bag stuff lately, but do you maintain a bag?
Yes, I just updated to the Sound Devices 888. I was on a 688 for quite a bit of time, and the 888 has the D squared and the 822 in it currently, and it's also a mini cart. So I just take the bag, put it on a Euro cart. I have a CL12 on it, and good to go.
Cool. And then you have a big cart though that you do for like what you talked about, the channel counts for like Mayans MC.
Yes, I have a custom built 80/20 cart, and basically my cart consists of sound devices, PIX 260 and 970 as my main recorders. A Midas M32R is my mixing console. I have two D squareds and one Venue 2 on the cart, as well as a duet system for my IFBs and complex for everybody else.
You know, in terms of your wireless setup, what would you say has changed in the last year or so? I mean, I know there's a lot of challenges with spectrum availability and things like that. How has that changed what you're doing?
It's gotten a lot harder as far as frequency coordination. And in the past, I never remoted my antennas, and I'm remoting my antennas constantly. I'm using Wireless Designer on a daily basis on every location to help with frequency coordination, because it just depends on where you are in the city as far as what's available and what's not.
People that are watching this are likely to wonder, you know, what are some things that you would want to tell them, like people that are learning the ropes of RF or want to improve their craft on that side, on the radio side? You know, what would you say are the three most important concepts that they should master?
I mean, frequency coordination is huge. It really is, just because, as I said, of all the RF noise and everything going on here, just to make sure you get no bleed and everything else. Having tools that run at 250 or 150 more is not necessarily the best situation.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a controlled environment, 50 milliwatts could be fine. If you're running at 250, you might be putting more noise into the system. You're also extracting other noise from other areas. So again, more is not necessarily the best situation. RF antenna distribution and things like that is hugely important. The types of RF cable you have, antenna placements, power, I mean, everything basically part. And, you know, I want my boom operators happy, and I've been very fortunate to have a team with me that for several years. My utility, Mitch, has been with me for 16 years plus. Wow. And my boom operator, Dirk, has been off and on with me for over 10 years. So
what's a good point there about a team effort that this is? I mean, you can't do this kind of work without people that you can trust and that kind of probably read your mind and you read their minds. I mean, I would think.
My utility and I can complete each other's sentences a lot. And again, I'm a big believer in a good team makes me worse and a bad team. I mean, good team makes me better and a bad team makes me worse. Right. You know, I'm very, you know, when I need people, I try to find the best of the best to cover, because again, they're going to make me look and the sound department look better at the end of the day.
Say a couple things for me real quick.
Along those same lines, you know, what other advice would you have for people who are coming up in the business?
I mean, general stuff is research the equipment out there. If you know, try to talk to people. I'm always open to talking to new people. I help organize these when we can in the non-COVID world, all these get-togethers where, you know, new and old people can get together and meet each other and, you know, get to ask people questions. I'm a big believer in that. I believe that the sound community in general looks out for each other more than most of these other departments on a film set.
Interesting.
Looked up sound mixers and I wrote everyone a letter just saying, hey, I'm, you know, getting into sound. Is there any advice you can give me? And, you know, a couple of them took me to lunch and gave me some advice. And, you know, I'm always happy to pay it forward and do what I can to help. But I mean, you know, research the gear, make connections with certain people, just kind of, you know, get out and, you know, get involved in the community as much as you can. I mean, there's a lot of forums with sound and everything else. Be a part of all those. You know, I say with anybody with hard work and effort will get their opportunity. You know, you gotta make the most of it when you get it, because if you don't, then it may be several years before you get the next big opportunity.
We got some time.
Right. I feel like this is a small community, you know, kind of what you're talking about. It's like you got to know people and you got to work within that. And it's like almost like a family, I feel. And, you know, it goes both ways. You know, we appreciate you and other mixers that are willing to work with us and talk with us and try new stuff, you know, which brings me to the next subject, which is the last couple of weeks you've been using the new DBSM transmitters. How's that going?
Great. I absolutely love them. I mean, I'm a big proponent of embracing the digital world. And when the D Squared came out, I jumped on it right away and DPR and DPR-As came out, I jumped on them right away, and I've loved them. They've been great. I've had no issues with range. Sound quality is, in my opinion, far superior than analog, and I'm having the same results with the SM. What do we call it? SM what?
The DBSMs, yeah. They're so
The
new, no
DB
one knows what they're called yet.
Yes.
And I mean, thanks for talking to us today. I'm sure the folks out there are going to get a lot out of, you know, your wisdom and how long you've been in the business and the kind of work that you do. And so let's wrap it up. And thanks again. And you know, if anyone's got questions, just contact us through the Sound Summit channels here, and or me at Lectrosonics, and I'll relay them if you want to do that. So thanks again, Steve.
Great. My pleasure.